Here are 10 things I wish I knew when I first started working out. The reason why it's so important is because when you have that high level of intensity, you're also pushing your sets closer to failure, which has been proven by science time and time again that the closer you bring your sets to failure, the more muscle growth promoting the set actually is. A lot of science-based lifters get a bad rap because they tend to focus so much on form that they lose that level of intensity. And I've been guilty of this in the past. I would say you have to have a good mix of both. Now, pushing your sets closer to failure means you're pushing your sets where you can only do 5, 4, 3, 2, or even one more rep away from not being able to do a single more rep. For me personally, I like to bring my sets 1 to 3 reps away from failure. I do like to go to failure on each body part here and there, just so I know what failure feels like, because I can get complacent and think that failure is a lot closer than it actually is. The recommended amount for optimal muscle growth is anywhere from 6, if you're a newbie, all the way up to 15 sets per week. Because once you go past that point, if you're pushing your intensity level really high, you can get to that place of junk volume. Once you're doing a lot of work on a specific muscle in 1 week within a short period of time, your muscles actually can't repair themselves. It can't keep up with the healing versus the damage. So what tends to happen is muscle atrophy, meaning you actually lose muscle mass just because it can't sustain itself. Now I tend to stick between 8 to 15 sets per week. Usually I start my workout program closer to that 8 sets per week. And then as the weeks pass and my workout program gets longer, I add in more sets as I need. Calorie counting basically involves weighing and tracking everything you put into your body. Almost everything you put in your body. Science has proved unless you have a specific condition, calories in versus calories out. Anytime you eat more than you need, it turns to fat, so your body can store it and save it for a later time. When you burn more calories than you eat, you lose the fat cells, or rather they shrink in size. This is because your body is now using that stored energy to fuel your body. Why is it so important to make sure you're calorie counting, at least for me? Fat loss is not something that happens overnight. It's a very long and tedious process. Having that daily calorie goal helps me stay on track throughout the months and know that I'm taking one step closer to my goals. But the main reason why it's so effective for dieting is once you have your daily goal, you can have any food, including junk food, obviously within reason, but you can still lose fat. It gives you more control with what you choose to eat, as long as it meets your calorie goal. If you're in the fitness space, you probably heard that macros affect body composition while micronutrients affect how you feel. And this is true for the most part. While I would say that macronutrients play a bigger role in your body composition overall, I would still not disregard micronutrients entirely. So for macronutrients, it breaks down into 3 categories: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. For proteins, the daily recommended amount is 0.7 to 1 grams per pound of body weight, but this will depend on your body fat percentage. For me personally, I keep mine all the time at 1 gram per pound just to make sure I'm covering all my bases. Now, fats, I think the daily recommended amount for like building muscle or within that realm is 0.3 to 0.5 grams per pound. However, the amount of fats is very dependent on you and your personal goals. Keto, carnivore is a big fad nowadays. And although I don't personally do them, a lot of people like them. And honestly, whatever diet helps you achieve your goals and stay on track is a good diet for you. So if you're on keto, you're obviously not eating a lot of carbs, which means your fat levels would be a lot higher to compensate for the calorie difference. Just keep in mind that fats are the most calorie dense macronutrient. So keeping your fats lower can actually help you decrease your calories by a lot, which can also help you lose fat. This also comes with a caveat. Do not decrease your fats below 0.3 or 0.5 grams per pound. During my contest prep for my bodybuilding competition, I lowered my fats to like 10 to 20 grams per day. And I felt like complete shit because when you have a low amount of fats, it can affect your hormones, affect how you think mentally. It messes up a lot of things. The last thing I'll say about fats is try to eat a lot of healthier fats from like avocados, nuts, healthier oils, and then try to avoid industrial made trans fats. So like super highly processed foods with a lot of butter or oil and things like that. Now the last macronutrient is carbohydrates. A lot of people online think that carbohydrates are the enemy and should be banished from every diet. I cannot disagree more. Carbohydrates are what provide you energy and can help fuel your workouts, which if you have a better workout, you can have more efficient and more productive muscle growth. There are two different carbohydrates, simple carbs and complex carbs. Complex carbs are more recommended on a daily basis because they don't spike your blood sugar levels super high and cause that crashing feeling where you're super tired after. But that doesn't mean simple carbs are bad. It's just how you utilize them as a tool. If I'm in the middle of a workout, like a leg day, for example, when your blood sugar levels could drop from your leg workouts, a simple carbohydrate will help you right away, like Gatorade or gummies. How I find my carbohydrates is my protein is always gonna be 1 gram per pound. That's never gonna change. My fats, I always try to keep it around 75 grams, sometimes more if I'm a little bit more indulging, but my carbohydrates fill up the rest of my calories. This helps me have more energy throughout the day and more energy for my workout. Now, last but not least is micronutrients. It's way more complex, and trying to hit everything and thinking about all these numbers is a lot more tedious. I would say try to have vegetables with every meal, like a handful of vegetables. The last thing about micronutrients and why I find calorie counting so important is the variety of foods. If you eat the same amounts of foods, you're missing out on a lot of nutrients that you can get from other foods. So if you have a wider variety of foods, you're more likely to get all your vitamins and all those nutrients you need. From a lot of people I've trained in the past, they show me someone that they look up to, that they want to have that body type. I think it's great to have people online or at the gym to inspire you or set a goal that you want to achieve. But on the flip side of that, a lot of them tend to get into a place where they start comparing themselves to these people, and it starts to affect them mentally in a negative way. They feel like if they're putting in a lot of work, trying to diet consistently and do all these things, why do they still not have a body like them? We are all on our own journey and we are all on our own timelines. I know for girls especially, a lot of them compare themselves to girls with big butts and no hip dips. Now, hip dips are very common and are very normal, but I think that because of the way social media has portrayed butts with no hip dips, it has become more of a goal to achieve. And that is something that you can't change personally through working out. It have to be done through surgery. Some people may be born without hip dips, but what tends to happen is a lot of social media influencers also get surgeries done and lie to their audience. Another thing that fuels the fire is both males and females take supplements and claim natty in all their bios. So when you look at their physique, you think that's a naturally achievable physique when it is not natural at all. That's why I say you can look at people to inspire you, but don't look up to them. You don't know if they're the same person off camera as they are on camera. And although social media has broken a barrier of privacy and more vulnerability, it doesn't mean people can't act. But even without all that, even the person you look up to is telling the truth and they're giving you a program how they actually achieved it and that's actually what they did, it doesn't mean it'll work for you just based on your genetics and theirs. So compare yourself to your past self and always try to strive to be better. You always want to learn better techniques, better workouts, better ways to optimize your training program. Working hard is really, really good. But someone who works hard and works smart will beat the person who just works hard, no matter how hard they work. The reason why is you can get the same amount of work done within a more efficient time frame, meaning with all that extra time, you can get even more work done, get even more ahead of that person who's just working hard. And learning doesn't have to be boring. You could find a YouTube personality that you like and just watch them do their daily vlogs and take away some information from there. But I will say, try to learn information from multiple sources. Don't just take everything one person says as gospel, so that you can find your truth somewhere in the middle. The other thing is, once you start to learn a lot more about the gym and you start to develop what you believe is right, don't be so dismissive of others that you think are wrong. They can still have something valuable that you can gain. For me personally, my goal for learning online is trying to optimize my training and dieting more efficiently so that I can make my gains faster. I don't want to be wasting my time in the gym, and if I'm already dedicating 1.5 hours 6 days a week of my life, I might as well try to make the best of it. If you want to get better at anything in life, it's going to take consistent work and being patient. This also applies to the gym. Trust me, I struggle with this too. We all want that dream body and we want it now. We don't want to wait 2 years of training 6 days a week, having to eat all these meals every single day just to get that body. But what's helped me a lot, and especially with my last journey to my first bodybuilding show, is realizing it's not about the end goal, it's about the journey. The best things in life aren't free. Building a great physique takes a lot of time, and it takes you being consistent with your diet and your training. If you know it's going to take time and you have to be patient and you fall in love with the process, it makes it that much easier to stay on track to make your goals a reality. This This is kind of in the same realm as always learning, because once you learn new things, you can try to implement new techniques, new workout splits, new programs, new diet plans that may help benefit you and help you achieve your goals. Just because something is working doesn't mean it can't be improved upon. If I was stuck in the same mentality as this workout program is the best, no one's ever gonna beat it, I would have never tried to learn more things. I would have never done this whole scientific approach, and I would have never been able to get back on track with my physique. Trying new things can also keep the gym interesting. If you're just constantly doing the same things over and over again, the gym can get pretty stale and boring. Same with dieting. If it doesn't work for you, you can always go back to what was working. It's not the end of the world. A lot of the times before, when I entered the gym, I wanted to show off my strength. But as I've gotten older, and trust me, having my daughter made me feel a lot older than I am, I have realized the importance of longevity and making sure that my joints and my tendons and also all the supporting muscle tissue is taken care of, as well as my muscles. Your muscles grow at a faster rate than your tendons and all your joints. So if you're constantly pushing heavy weight that your muscle tissue can handle, your joints and your tendons may not be able to. To help compensate for that, I focus more on my form and time under tension. The eccentric phase of all my movements, I focus on slowing it down to make the set a lot harder. The reason why I do that is science has shown that the eccentric phase is the most muscle growth promoting part of the rep. So the longer you're in that phase, the better for your muscle growth. The other reason is it makes the set a lot harder. When the set's a lot harder, that means I can't use as much weight. If I don't have to use as much weight or load, I don't have to put as much strain on my supporting joints. And I've honestly seen better muscle growth focusing on those. It keeps my reps more consistent. So each rep is basically the same and it helps my tracking for my overall progressive overload on each workout. If fitness, or more specifically building an aesthetic physique, is your main goal, you want to make it a lifestyle, not something you do for a little bit and then just give up on. The reason why is it has so many benefits for you in the long run. If you don't use your muscle, you lose it. So the longer you can work out in your life, the more muscle you have for later in life when you're older, meaning you'll be able to do more. But that's not even the main reason why I say have fun. The main reason is the gym can be a super stressful environment. You go to the gym and you think that people are judging you constantly, or you are constantly judging yourself. Majority of the people won't judge you. They don't even care. Most people in the gym, honestly, are so focused on themselves. I know for me, I'm so focused on my own insecurities. I don't got time to judge or worry about anybody else's. Just try to have fun. Realize you're taking one step closer to your goal. Also be positive. Don't put someone else down just because you're not happy with where you want to be in life either. That's all I'll say. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys learned something. If you did, please give me a like. Comment below if you guys have a question about me, or if you guys have a video idea you want me to do. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.